I will start right away. Well, good evening, everybody in Berlin. I'm thrilled to be here with you from Silicon Valley. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what my belief is in the AI-powered digital health as the next big thing in this short presentation, and then we'll talk a little bit about what we are announcing today, which is a very exciting partnership. So a little bit about me. Why am I here? Like you, I'm an entrepreneur, first and foremost. And I was a graduate student at MIT in the mid-90s when the internet was happening. And I started my first company 24 years ago, long time ago. And then, the internet boom happened, and I kept doing companies as founder, CEO. So I did 3 internet startups. I moved to Silicon Valley. I did 3 internet startups until the end of the decade. Now, my 4th startup is 1 million by 1 million. We started in 2010, so it's now in its 8th year. And 1 million by 1 million is the first and only global virtual accelerator in the world today. We run it from Silicon Valley, but with a completely global footprint. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in annual revenue and beyond. And in support of that mission, I want to give you a little bit of a flavor of where we are currently. Our community today is over 500,000 people, literally around the world. We see companies from all different corners of the world. My LinkedIn following is over 365,000, and typically the people that we're trying to reach are on LinkedIn. We work with technology startups, so they're all on LinkedIn. You're all on LinkedIn. We do free online mentoring roundtables every week. This has been going on for 10 years, and we've done over 415 of them. Tomorrow morning is the 416th one, and you're very welcome to come to that one. We've had over 100,000 people attending these sessions. We have over 875 case studies. This is a completely case study-based program. This includes 50-plus unicorn companies, 400-plus venture-funded companies, 350-plus bootstrap companies, and it includes European companies as well. We have captured an incredible amount of wisdom and lessons from the trenches from entrepreneurs who've already done it, and we want every entrepreneur who is currently practicing to be able to benefit from that knowledge that has come together. Our online curriculum is a case studies and video lectures based curriculum accessible from anywhere in the world. We have over 300 hours worth of curriculum in the program. Our largest company has raised over $300 million, has over 100,000 customers, and about $100 million in revenue. That's a company called Freshworks. We have many companies who have crossed the $1 million threshold. So based on this work, LinkedIn named me one of their top 10 influencers in 2015. And that list was number 1, Bill Gates, number 2, Richard Branson, and you see me as number 10 in the bottom right corner. So that actually pushed up our distribution greatly in the world of startup incubation and acceleration. Now, what is different about our philosophy? Why are we doing 1 million by 1 million? When I was thinking about 1 million by 1 million, what struck me was that the world of entrepreneurship is thinking of entrepreneurship as financing. And this is partly because the media has created this myth that entrepreneurship equals financing. So I'm sure in Europe you're hearing the same thing all over from every different corner, is that how much money have you raised? In Silicon Valley, this is the prevailing myth. And I live in Menlo Park, California, which is, you may have heard of Sand Hill Road. Many of you have probably visited Sand Hill Road, which is where all the venture capitalists are. So I kind of live in the middle of this whole madness chasing venture capital, and I just don't believe that entrepreneurship equals venture capital or entrepreneurship equals financing. I believe entrepreneurship equals customers, revenues, and profits. And this is kind of the ethos with which I think European SMEs were built for generations, which is why you have a robust SME ecosystem, especially in Germany. And that, I think, is a much better mode of thinking about entrepreneurship, which is that financing is optional. Financing is a tool and not a must. An exit is optional. If you take financing, you'll have to find an exit for your company. But if you're not taking financing, then you don't have to find an exit. So these are some of the core tenets based on which we have built 1 million by 1 million. Our mantra is bootstrap first, raise money later, or not at all, and be capital efficient. The reality of the venture capital game is that over 99% of startups out there that seek financing actually get rejected by VCs. You have to come to terms with a few things. VC rejection does not equal failure, and VC financing does not equal success. So you have to redefine success. A unicorn can be a success. If a company gets acquired for a good multiple, that is a success. A company that is acquired for a modest multiple is also a success. Remember, in the universe that we play in, the world of technology startups, the vast majority of the acquisition deals happen in the $50 to $60 million exit price range. So as long as you're doing a venture in a capital efficient mode and you can exit at that price point, that should also be considered a success. And if you build a long-term profitable business, that also should be considered a success. So success has many different flavors. Failure too has many different flavors. The biggest failure is lack of product market fit. If you build something that nobody is willing to buy, that is failure, and that company is not a sustainable company. Death by overfunding also is a failure. And we're seeing a lot of that in our universe. If you go to the 1 million by 1 million blog, you will see a whole series called Death by Overfunding. Each company at some point has been valued as a unicorn company and have been flushed with funding, and then they die. Examples like Nasty Gal, Guild Group, there are numerous examples like that who have eventually imploded after huge amounts of financing. So please do not mistake that raising venture capital equals success. It's a big myth in our industry. So I am announcing with great pleasure a partnership between EIT Health and 1 million by 1 million. We are going to be accelerating 115 European startups together. And all of today's semifinalists will be awarded scholarships to the 1 million by 1 million premium program. Congratulations to all of those today who have presented and contested in the Catapult. Also, 3 winners from last year will be awarded scholarships to the 1 million by 1 million premium program. So congratulations to Consens Data, Dr. Omnibus, FitMe, iBrave, Kinesis, Health Technologies, MindPacks, Minity, MyBase Pair, NeuroPsyCAD, SleepIs, WeFight, Yapili, FibriCheck by Cumpium, Complex Disease Detector by Hippogriff, and Advantis Medical Imaging. Congratulations to all of you for your work so far, and we very much look forward to working with you in the 1 Million by 1 Million Premium program. So what do you get through 1 Million by 1 Million Premium? You get access to our online curriculum and methodology, unlimited access for a year. You get online mentoring, and that's through WebEx. You can basically come and talk to me every week as much as you need to through the mentoring roundtables. We have one of the most powerful Rolodexes in Silicon Valley. And by being part of the 1 Million by 1 Million Premium program, you have access to that Rolodex. And that includes potential customers, channel partners, investors, media, analysts, advisors, whomever you want to reach. If we know them, we will connect you. And you have access to global PR. We have a lot of clout in the media, so we will introduce you to that channel of communication through which you can get visibility. Visibility is really important for startups. In addition, we also have, through the partnership, we are going to be giving out 100 3-month basic scholarships. 1 Million by 1 Million Basic is our curriculum-only option. You can learn the methodology, have unlimited access to the curriculum for 3 months, and the winners of this will be notified soon. You will receive that notification through email in due course. So congratulations and welcome to 1 Million by 1 Million. I want to share with you a little bit of my perspective on the opportunities in digital health, especially AI-powered digital health. You know, in the last about 12 months, I've probably talked to over 100 investors. And all of these investor interviews are available from our podcast channel, as well as transcripts are available on our blog. So you can go check out these interviews if you're interested. Everybody is talking about AI. I'm sure everybody in Europe are talking about AI as well. It's a very big trend right now, and I think AI, as it applies to digital health, is an incredibly exciting area. And I saw the list of the winners today and the semifinalists today. You are touching all these themes. I'll just give you 4 or 5 themes that I am monitoring that I think are really exciting and are going to make a tremendous impact on the world in the next decade. One of them is AI doctor. I can't wait to be in the hands of an AI doctor. You know, what does a doctor do? A doctor has to process all my test results, all my symptoms, all my genetic data, all the research all around the world that is happening in that particular field, all my medication data, all the side effects of the medication, all the interactions between medications, all the side effects of the interactions between medications, and so on. This is like a multivariate optimization that a doctor has to do in his head or in her head. I think this is humanly not possible. So this is a place where I think AI would work wonders. AI, once it's ready, will provide a much better quality of diagnosis and prescription. And accuracy is going to go up. There's a lot of misdiagnosis in the profession at the moment, and that is going to change as AI doctors come in to supplement human doctors. This is, I think, an area where we're not going to have a net job loss. Many other fields will experience net job losses by the impact of AI, but I don't think healthcare is one of those. In healthcare, I think the AI is going to supplement human doctors, but we'll get much better accuracy and we'll get much better reach. There are vast swaths of society today that have no access to quality doctors, and that can change if AI can really infiltrate the world of medicine and the world of care. So IBM has made a big bet in this area, And I'm going to point out in each of the areas that I talk about who are the big players. IBM is just the biggest of the players in this field. And that's important because exits are going to be important, right? As we build these companies, as we take the innovations into market, some of these are going to be large public companies that will come out of this field, but there will also be the need for lots of acquisitions to happen for the segment to gain momentum. So the big companies that are making bets are important from the exit point of view. The second field that I'm excited about is the quantified self, data-driven monitoring, alerts, medication, all of that. I've just recently experienced a close friend of mine whose Apple Watch told him that his heart rate was really low. And he basically asked his son to take him to the emergency room, and he was on the surgery table almost immediately and had a pacemaker installed, and that saved his life. So there is a lot of that going on right now. Apple has made a very big bet in this area. If you read the literature, I'm sure you're following, those of you who are working in this field, that Apple will be a very major player in this whole world of quantified self, data-driven monitoring, alerts, etc. The third area, which is very interesting, and things that are happening in this domain of drug discovery and clinical trials, is an area that is, there's things that are going to be possible that was never possible until now because of what we can do with technology. For example, the number of patients on which today clinical trials happen is actually relatively low. 300, 500, several thousand patient clinical trials are already very expensive to conduct. But I think with where we are going, it's going to be possible to conduct clinical trials on millions of people. And that is going to change the world of drug discovery. And then when you apply machine learning and pattern recognition and data processing with artificial intelligence, we're going to discover patterns, we're going to discover drugs that are going to be of immense power and immense scope to address the kinds of things that we're dealing with from an illness point of view. Now, a couple of pointers there. Veeva, I don't know if you've heard of Veeva. Veeva is an excellent company. It's a company that we started covering a long time ago. It's a software as a service company, obviously not as big a brand, as well-known a brand as IBM or Apple, but it's a company that is approaching $1 billion in revenue. In the fourth quarter of 2020, the company will reach $1 billion in revenue. Currently, it has about $13 billion in market cap. And the way they came into the market was by providing software as a service, customer relationship management software to the pharmaceutical industry. The company was built in an incredibly capital efficient manner. I think they only used about $4 million of financing and built this enormous company, currently over $600 million in revenue. They raised a bit more money afterwards, but they didn't really need that money. They were building this company in a tremendously capital efficient manner, and the product market fit was great. So they were really sailing through the scaling phase. They have made a big bet on clinical trials. I had lunch with the CEO. By the way, there's a wonderful interview of the CEO, Peter Gassner, on the 1 Million by 1 Million blog as well. It's one of the case studies we teach. So I had lunch with Peter recently, and he explained to me that he was really trying to address all the issues, all the IT issues of the pharmaceutical industry, and clinical trial is very big on their agenda. So this is an interesting company that I think will be an acquirer eventually as they find companies to acquire. We have a company in our portfolio in 1 Million by 1 Million in the clinical trial area. And you know what is very interesting is that through this company, what I've learned is that a lot of clinical trials are still in paper-based processes. Forget AI. Forget, machine learning. These guys are still doing paper. So can you imagine what kind of magical impact this industry is going to go through as all this process digitizes, and then we apply all the sophisticated stuff like AI into this domain. So our company, CliniOps, it has already crossed $1 million in revenue. They are going to do somewhere between 3 to 5 in 2018, $3 to $5 million this year. So it's a company that is going very nicely. By the way, I want to point out for a moment that a bunch of things that I've talked about this clinical trials is one example, but if you look at the AI doctor example that I talked about, we don't see AI doctors penetrating into hospitals or medical systems yet. I live in Menlo Park, as I said, 5 minutes from Stanford University, and the medical system that I'm part of is the Stanford Medical System. It's a very, very cutting-edge medical system, right? It's in the heart of Silicon Valley. It sees all the new technology very early. It's an early adopter of technology, but we are still seeing a very archaic doctor process. There are no AI doctors in the system yet. So this has also not even begun to show any of the potential of market penetration that we would see in the upcoming years. So it just gives you an idea about how early we are still in this industry. The other field that is going through incredible amount of innovation is geriatric care. Again, something that I'm sure many of you are experiencing in your families, and just falling is one big thing, right? Elderly people fall, and that monitoring, that process of notification, all that is very, very tricky, and there are heartbreaking stories of elderly people falling and then not being found for hours, and so on and so forth. So this is an area where there's a lot of great work going on. I recently was invited to a presentation by MIT's. MIT brings to Silicon Valley some of their best research to interface with the community here. And Professor Dina Katabi is doing some very interesting work in the geriatric care area in monitoring by using all sorts of interesting technology, wireless technology and so forth, to monitor. And also here, artificial intelligence kicks in gear very, very nicely because, there's natural behavior, normal behavior of an individual, and then there's anomalies. So machine learning can pick up personalized machine learning can pick up how somebody behaves in normal life, in their normal interactions, in their normal movements, and then if there are anomalies, can alert, can, notify. We have tremendous aging populations in different parts of the world. In Europe, you have a huge aging population. In America, we have a huge aging population. Japan has an incredible aging population. Even China now has a tremendous aging population. Probably one country that has a huge young population is India, because they're still growing their populations like crazy, which is not necessarily a great thing. I'm from India, by the way, you can tell. But we do have a huge geriatric care problem coming up, or is already there. So technologies that will address issues in that will be fantastic. And by the way, all these themes I've seen reflected in the businesses that you are doing. In I saw the list of the semifinalists. So very good that you're somebody or the other is marking these opportunities. The other area, which is my last point, is health insurance. Health insurance is a mess, and whatever we can do to improve the efficiency of the health insurance system is vastly welcome. It's very expensive, very inefficient, very, very open to innovation and reinvention. And there will be a lot of AI that will go into this area. I personally believe that universal health care should be part of the global infrastructure as we go along. In Europe, you have better facilities when it comes to socialized health care. We don't have as good an infrastructure in America, and the emerging markets are terrible, absolutely terrible. So this is a vast open field for humanity to get to a better place. But it is also a very big problem, very difficult problem, very expensive problem to solve. So to the extent that technology can kick in and address these problems would be very, very welcome. Now, the company that I want to highlight here is a company, again, we have been covering for a long time. There's an interview with the founder, Jonathan Bush, on our blog if you're interested in learning more about them, Athena Health. They have about a $5 billion market cap right now. This company found a big pain point in the payment processing of physicians' offices interfacing with the healthcare providers, the health insurance providers. So they stuck themselves in the middle of that process. They actually used some not hugely sophisticated AI, but early AI to address that problem, and they have created a very interesting company in that space. So they do have relationships in the physician world, and they have relationships in the provider world, and that is interesting. They sit in the middle because, again, going to market with interesting technology sometimes is a very expensive process because you have to build the entire channel. And building channels are very expensive. So sometimes early acquisitions that get you access to channels are also legitimate ways of penetrating the market fast. So whichever way you look at it, these larger companies making bets in specific areas are important for us to keep track of as players in the small startup ecosystem. So exciting problems to solve, lots of capital flowing, plenty of exit opportunities. There will be more exit opportunities as the industry develops. And this is a great opportunity for Europe to build domain expertise and success. And I just want to present to you a few points about my thoughts on how does a region become a startup hub. There is a lot of new regions coming up and becoming good startup hubs, startup ecosystems. And I want to show you a little bit of what's happening in the Czech Republic. It's a case study. So we've been covering the Czech Republic and startups in the Czech Republic for a while now. And I recently did a spotlight on the Czech Republic. And they have had some very interesting things happen. Two companies became major players in the consumer antivirus space, Avast and AVG. As a result, a lot of derivative startups started happening in Prague. Avast and AVG merged. The combined company went public, is currently at about a $3.6 billion market cap, I think somewhere in that thereabouts. And this region has become a substantial startup hub with a specialization in consumer antivirus and security technologies, but there are other things happening as well. There are other kinds of companies happening as well. Ysoft is one that is about a $30 million company. Ysoft has started a venture fund, a corporate venture fund that is financing a specific kind of company, hybrid hardware software companies, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of interesting stuff happening in the Czech Republic. So my thought is that Europe has an opportunity in front, ahead, to do something very significant in digital health and in healthcare technologies in general. and become really a big hotbed of health IT or health-related innovation, startups, big success stories, and small success stories as well. So that's basically my question to you now is, let us see which region becomes Europe's biggest digital health hub. You have many regions who are working on building the next unicorns, the smaller exits, the bootstrap success stories, and all of those will happen, I believe, in Europe. Let's see how quickly you guys can develop the domain, deliver great successes, deliver great numbers and exits, and let's go. On y va. So I'm happy to take questions. For questions, you would need to convey your question to Matteo Consonini over there, and he will type the questions. I can't hear you, so you're going to need to type the questions in the chat window of the WebEx, and I will pick up those questions, repeat the questions, and answer them. Great. Thank you, Matteo. So questions. What's on your mind? What kinds of issues are you dealing with? What kinds of questions are bubbling in your minds right now? And what kinds of roadblocks are you facing? So while you're coming up with your questions, I want to invite you all to come to tomorrow's free public mentoring roundtable from 1 million by 1 million. If you go to our website, 1m1m.com, you will find the schedule. So anytime you would like to come, you are very welcome. We have these roundtables almost every week. One question I have in the chat is, when can 15 startups start in the 1 million by 1 million program? You will receive your credentials. We already have, I think, your email addresses. So your credentials will be issued by the end of this week. So you get to start as soon as you basically activate your accounts. And on Monday evening, we have a private roundtable, which is our members only mentoring session, and you're very welcome to come to that and get started. You will receive all instructions, orientation, and everything by email. So the question is, don't you believe that AI is overhyped right now? AI is overhyped right now? Yes, I do, actually. Yes, I do, actually. It's overhyped in the sense. It's overhyped in the sense that if you look at how AI works, AI works the best with constrained domains. With constrained domains. The era of horizontal AI is kind of gone.
Is kind
if you're
of
trying to build a startup
gone.
and you want
If
to
you're
do
trying to build a
horizontal
startup
AI
and you want
you
to
will
do
not get a lot of
horizontal
interest
AI
because
you will
there is
not get a
already
lot of interest
plenty of
because
AI infrastructure.
there is
The
already
platforms are
plenty
there.
of
The big
AI
players are
infrastructure. The platforms
putting
are
out
there.
their
The big
platforms, whether
players
it's
are
Microsoft
all putting out
Azure or
platforms, whether it's
Google
Microsoft
or
Azure or
IBM
Google
Watson.
or
Everybody has
their platforms out there. Also, their platforms out there. Also,
mid-market companies that have horizontal
startups and mid-market companies that have horizontal platforms.
What
there are
people
lots of
are
options.
looking for. What
Are
people are looking
vertical,
for
domain-specific solutions,
domain-specific solutions,
domain-specific vocabulary, domain-specific vocabulary, domain-specific data structure, domain-specific
and
learning.
that is not necessarily overhyped.
And that
because
is not necessarily overhyped.
Not all of these are going to be
unicorn opportunities.
Not all of these are going to be unicorn opportunities.
You may have specialized expertise on a particular domain.
Specialized expertise on a particular domain.
And that may not be a unicorn opportunity.
And that may not be a unicorn opportunity.
To build a $10 million
that may
company.
be an opportunity to
that
build
may
a
be an
$10
opportunity
million
to
company.
build a $5
That may
million
be an
company.
opportunity to build a $5 million
But
company.
you do need very specific
But
domain knowledge
you do
to
need
crack
very
these
specific
opportunities
domain
and
knowledge
build these
to
businesses.
crack these opportunities and
And
build
that
these businesses.
Is probably
And that
the missing
is probably
the missing in how I'm seeing the AI market right now.
In how I'm seeing the AI market
I don't think
right
you
now.
can play the AI market well.
I don't think you can
without
play the AI market
domain
well
knowledge in a
without
particular
domain knowledge
vertical,
in a particular
industry, particular
problem domain. I mean, it could be fashion.
So you could be
playing
in the
fashion
fashion industry
You
and
could
you're
be
trying
playing
to
in the fashion
basically
industry and
recommend
you're trying to
basically
recommend
what
to
would look good on
women
them. What
For
would
that,
look
you need
good
to
on them.
understand what is the
For
profile
that,
of the
you
woman.
need to understand what
And
is
you
the
need to
profile of the woman.
understand how
And you need to understand
that
matchmaking
how
happens. What looks
that
good on what colored
matchmaking
skin,
happens.
what colored
What
hair,
looks
what
good on
colored
what
eye,
colored skin, what
what
colored
kind
hair,
of body
what colored
shape.
eye.
That is
What
very
kind of body
specialized
shape.
expertise.
That is very
This is not
specialized
necessarily
expertise.
just because
not
you are a
necessarily
Caltech,
just because you are
engineer
an
who
Caltech
really is a genius in
who
AI
really
algorithms.
is a
Would
genius
you have
in
any
AI
idea
algorithms?
how to recommend
Would you have
clothes
any
to a
idea
woman?
to
How
a
to
woman?
recommend clothes to a woman?
To a woman.
So that's what I mean by
So
the gap between the people who understand
the gap
AI
between the people
and the
who
people
understand
who have
AI
the knowledge
and
of the technology and the learning algorithms
of
and
the
how to program
technology and the learning
algorithms
algorithms
versus
and
the
how to
people who
program
have
learning
the
algorithms
business
versus
domain
the
knowledge
people
in
who have
diverse
the
fields,
business
whether
domain
it's
knowledge in
automotive
diverse
or
fields, whether it's automotive
retail
or
healthcare,
retail or
healthcare
often is missing.
That bridge,
in that sense, it's not overhyped.
If you
in that
can
sense,
bridge
it's
that
not overhyped.
gap,
If you can
you
bridge
have
that
lots of
gap,
opportunities out there.
you have lots
There
of
are
opportunities
thousands
out
of companies
there.
that would be built
There are thousands
by
of companies
bridging
that would be built
that gap in
by
different
bridging
domains.
that gap in different domains.
Does that answer your question? Does that answer your question? Anybody else? Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you for having me, and I look forward to working with many of you who are winners of the 1 Million by 1 Million Scholarship.